Hello, everybody. Welcome back to IntyCenter. We have got a double whip around FODEUSS this week. One will be the traditional day-by-day, game-over-game. The other, we're going to pivot to looking series over series, specifically looking at things that are significantly impactful to the playoff race. So we're going to start with the first week we have to recap with that traditional IntyCenter. And well, hey, we all know that when Maddox and Ryan pitch, Let's Play 2 are quite successful. But if Tom Glavine is going to add to that, just watch out. Glavine tossed 8 innings of shutout ball against the Demonbags, while Sammy Sosa, Andre Dawson, Ernie Banks, and Derek Lee all homered off D-bag starter Satchel Paige. LPT takes that series opener 7-0. Aaron Judge homered and drove in 5 runs as performance enhancers jumped all over both Corey Kluber and Johan Santana. The enhancers take the opener against the Surfers 9-2. San Diego has lost 8 in a row, and you sweet summer child is sitting at 8 in a row. You have no idea what's coming your way. Hey, when we say it's been that kind of year for amazings, this is what we mean. Pedro Martinez went 10 innings, gave up no runs on 4 hits. He walked 3, struck out 11. He took a no decision, and Amazings lost the game. That's because Patrick Corbin, Sean Doolittle, and Jonathan Papelbon combined for a 6-hit, 11-inning shutout of Amazings. And the only run came in the bottom of the 11th as Edwin Diaz retired the first 2 batters he faced, then loaded the bases on 2 singles and a walk, and then watched as Dobie Moore delivered a walk-off single to give the dramatic 1-0 win for the Bandwagoners. New York State of Mound, they got a 2-out RBI single from Dan Bruthers in the 8th to tie it at 2 against Atlanta Animes. Then a Heavy Johnson 2-run homer in the 10th put them on top. John Smoltz puts the Animes down in order in the 10th for a 4-2 win for State of Mound. Joe Mauer put the all-seeing Angels Hernandez up 1-0 in the 4th with a 2-out RBI single. Ralph Kiner tied it at 1 in the 6th with a 1-out RBI single and very nearly put Jolly Roger ahead. But Eddie Murray was thrown out by Joe DiMaggio at the plate on what would have been the go-ahead run. That was the scoring story of the game entering the 9th as Bob Feller and Tim Hudson were just fantastic. Babe Ruth leads off the 9th with a homer to put the Angels back ahead. After Jorge Posada drew a 1-out walk, the Angels go to Dennis Martinez. He gets the pinch-hitting Al Oliver to hit into a game-ending 6-4-3 double play. Albuquerque wins that one 2-1. Slim Jones gave up 2 hits. John McGraw had 3 hits, and that right there summarizes the story of the game between the Free Fallers and the Shack Barons. Ted Williams, Pete Browning, they homered, and the Shack Barons win that one 6-0. There was no hangover for the Shack Barons a day later after being the first team in FODEUSS 1961 to clinch a playoff spot. They jumped all over the Free Fallers in their series finale. A bases loaded triple from Shoeless Joe highlights a 6-run second inning. A Pete Browning grand slam capped a 5-run third inning. They put up a 4-run fourth to take an early 16-1 lead, and that's en route to a 17-2 victory. But we had much more drama in the finale between Game of Thrones and the Every City Bandwagoners. Cap Anson with a 2-out single in the bottom of the 7th puts Game of Thrones up 7-6. A Yogi Berra homer to lead off the 8th ties it back up. And after an error by Robert Alarmo, loads the bases, a walk to Lou Gehrig puts the Bandwagoners back on top. A Gehrig error then put Alarmo on third, and he would score on a pinch hit sac fly from Matt Kemp, tying us at 8. But a Barry Bonds RBI single and a bases loaded walk to Gehrig put the Bandwagoners back on top 10-8. With 2 outs, an error from Ted Simmons extended the game, and a triple from Frank Home Run Baker brought home Victor Martinez and put the tying run on third. Robbie Alomar, Robert Alarmo steps up to the plate with a chance to win it. He sends it high, he sends it deep, but not quite deep enough. The Bandwagoners hang on for a 10-9 win. That does it for that week. And again, we're going to shift now on IntyCenter. This will be what we do for the rest of the season. And we're going to talk about series that are really impactful to the playoff race. We're going to talk, first of all, with a couple of sweeps that are making the final race for the wild card in accurate length of a Star Destroyer very interesting. First up, we've got Let's Play 2 surging, and we've got the hopes for amazings almost extinguished. Let's Play 2, first of all, gets 7 innings of 1 run, 10-hit baseball from Roger Clemens in the opener. They down amazings 4-1. They get a complete game shutout with 3 hits allowed and 10 strikeouts from Nolan Ryan. They also get a second inning RBI single from Sammy Sosa for the only run in a 1-0 win over Vita Blue. And then Tom Glavine goes 6 innings, gives up 1 run on 6 hits. The bullpen makes it a little interesting, but Let's Play 2 takes it 5-2 to sweep the series. Then we've got Albuquerque getting a 2-run homer from Johnny Mize in the bottom of the 8th, and Ed Walsh doing an absolute pure Houdini act to escape. New York State of Mound get the bases loaded with 1 out in the 9th, but they can't get a 1 across. That means game 1 goes to the all-seeing Angels of Hernandez 7-5. Game 2 of that series is Addie Joss and Smokey Joe Williams putting on an absolute clinic. Williams gives up a solo homer to Babe Ruth. 4 hits besides that one, no other runs, but he takes the loss because Joss tosses a 4-hit shutout and Albuquerque wins it 1-0. Then in the finale, the Angels jump out early. They get a Jolton Joe solo shot in the second, a 2-run homer from the Babe in the second. They win it 6-2. They sweep the series. They've won 6 in a row. They've won 10 of their last 11. And maybe the best news for Let's Play 2 and Albuquerque, the two teams they're chasing were playing each other, guaranteeing they'd make up ground on at least somebody. The opener of the series between ECB and PE, we've got Jacob deGrom doing Jacob deGrom things, and we've got Jacob deGrom getting Jacob deGrom results. deGrom gives up 2 runs on 7 hits, and he takes the loss because Kevin Brown gives up 1 run on 4 hits. That's 2-1 to the home team in the opener. The Enhancers lead 3-1 heading into the 8th in game 2, but an RBI double from Jackie Robinson pulled the home team closer. Zach Britton retired the first 2 batters he faced in the 9th, putting his team 1 out away from a huge win. But a single from the pinch hitting Roger Maris and then a single from Mickey Mantle set the table. A 2-out single from who else? 42, Jackie Robinson scores Maris to tie the game. A single from Barry Bonds walked it off by scoring Mantle. That's a 4-3 win for the Bandwagoners. In the finale of that series, the Enhancers would get homers from Al Simmons, Honus Wagner, and Jimmy Collins just in the first 3 innings. They get an early 8-0 lead on Warren Spahn and the Bandwagoners. They cruise to an 8-4 victory, and they do avoid the sweep. That means right now, an accurate length of a Star Destroyer, performance enhancers are clinging to that final wild card spot. Let's Play 2 is sitting a single game back, and the surging, all-seeing Angels of Hernandez are just 3 games back. Bandwagoners are not safe. They're just 4 games up on Albuquerque in the win column. However, it looks like the hopes might be going out for amazings. We've got fewer than 20 games to play, and they are 6 games back, and they are chasing very, very hot teams. And hey, while it seems like everybody's trying to make the playoffs an accurate length of a Star Destroyer, I'm not sure we can say the same thing in Sandlot. San Diego got absolutely manhandled in games 1 and 3 against Game of Thrones. They lose a heartbreaker in the middle game. They led that one 3-1 going into the 8th. Cap Anson hits a 2-run homer in the 8th to tie it up. Augie Galan walks it off with a 2-run homer in the 9th. The Throws sweep the series, and the Surfers now sit on a 13-game losing streak. They looked like they were a lock for the playoffs 2 weeks ago, but after losing 13 in a row, we can't say that anymore. However, the brand new ball players, they could only barely take advantage. They dropped 2 out of 3 to the Demon Bags. They won the middle game 2-1 thanks to a great start from Max Scherzer and a 7th inning go-ahead solo homer from Lou Whitaker off Cliff Lee. Taking 2 out of 3, however, congratulations to the Demon Bags. They become the 2nd team in FODEUSS this year to clinch a playoff spot, joining the Shaq Barons. 2 tickets punched, 6 tickets left to go. And for that 8th and final spot, The Surfers and Ball Players are both sitting at 65 and 78. They're currently tied for that fourth and final playoff spot in Sandlot. Game of Throws are 7 games back, and it feels like it would take a miracle. But with neither the Surfers or Ball Players doing much winning, a miracle certainly seems possible. For what it's worth, the final weekend of the regular season has Throws visiting Ball Players. So if the Kings of the North can stay close, they just might have a chance to pull off that miracle. We'll get everything else uploaded and you can check out all the box scores and everything else. We're in for an exciting end of the season. That's going to do it for us this time on IntyCenter. We'll catch you next time for our next whip around. FODEUSS.